Thanks. Welcome everyone to my talk. So today I'm going to present Alba, the dawn of scalable bridges. And this is a joint work with Luca Saumeyer, Masa Bastanca, Zeta Varicchiotti, and Matteo Maffei. Okay, let's get started. So even though blockchains have been around for quite some time now, they still suffer from two main limitations. The first one is scalability. Blockchains have low throughput. Let's consider Bitcoin and Ethereum. They are the two most prominent blockchains out there, but they can only process 8 and 15 transactions per second. And this is particularly striking, especially when compared with Visa Network, another payment system which can handle 10,000s of transactions per second. Besides scalability, blockchains also have another limitation, interoperability. So by design, blockchains are not interoperable. They are isolated systems, and there is no native mechanism that allows information to flow from one blockchain to the other. The research community has spent quite some time and quite some effort towards improving scalability, and today there are many layer 2 protocols that allow users to exchange transactions off-chain. And among these protocols, we have, for instance, payment channels, state channels, commit chains, side chains, and rollups. And they all use the underlying blockchains for security, either for disputes or finality. And I want to highlight that all layer 2 protocols, as of now, only interact with their respective layer 1. So they only exchange information with their underlying layer 1. The research community has also worked towards improving interoperability, and we now have many bridge protocols, trusted protocols, atomic swaps, oracles, chain relays, and although these are good protocols, they still have one limitation. The thing is that interoperability, as of now, does not scale. Existing bridges require transactions to be posted on-chain, and this hinders scalability of applications, but also prevents interoperability between two different layer 2 protocols or between a layer 2 protocols and a layer 1 which is not its native layer 1. With this in mind, in this landscape, we propose a new paradigm for bridges, which are called scalable bridges. Scalable bridges support off-chain transactions. Therefore, they enhance scalability of application. They enable interoperability between different layer 2s and layer 2 and non-native layer 1. But they also inherit some good properties from the specific layer 2 protocol they target. In this talk, I'm going to focus on payment channels as a layer 2 protocol because they are the most mature and decentralized layer 2 solution. They're also virtually compatible with all existing blockchains, and they effectively scale both storage and computation. Let me walk you through a payment channel, how it works on a high level. So a payment channel has an opening phase where two users come together, for instance, Alice and Bob, and they lock some coins in a funding transaction. This funding transaction has a shared output, in this case 10 coins, with 8 coins contributed by Alice and 2 coins contributed by Bob. After setting up the funding transaction, they also set up the initial state of the channel, which distributes the balance according to how much each party has contributed. When they have the funding transaction and the initial state set up, the two parties can move on and publish the funding transaction on-chain. After that, they can update the channel state as many times as they want, so they can perform as many transactions as they want. And when they are done paying each other, they can simply go on-chain again to close the channel. So the final state of the channel goes on-chain, the funding transaction goes on-chain, but in between there can be arbitrarily many updates. Upon closing the channel, the dispute phase begins, and in the rational setting, this dispute phase ensures that only the last state of the channel goes on-chain. Otherwise, if this is not the case, if an old state goes on-chain, the cheating party is gonna lose all its money. Okay, with this in mind, we propose Alba. Alba is a protocol that allows to prove to a smart contract, for instance, on Ethereum, that an update, that a transfer, a payment in a channel took place. I'm going to show you how Alba works by using a lending protocol as a running example. So let's consider Alice that wants to borrow some coins from Bob. And Alice and Bob have a channel in the Lightning Network, which is the layer 2 solution on top of Bitcoin. And there's an Alba contract on Ethereum. So what happens? Alice locks some coins into the Ethereum smart contract, and Bob grants the loan to Alice on the Lightning Network, so on the payment channel. And these two actions, Alice locking collateral and Bob granting the loan, must happen atomically. Then Alice can do whatever she wants with the money she's borrowed, but at some point she wants to pay back the loan. And this is where Alba comes in. So essentially, Alba allows Alice to prove to the smart contract that she has paid back the loan on the payment channel. And upon proving this payback transaction took place to the contract executes a corresponding transaction. In this case, it gives back Alice the collateral. So we want to do it, we want to prove this with two goals in mind, efficiency and security. Towards efficiency and security, we augment the state of the channel in order that it includes some additional data. So for instance, in this case, it includes some data that specifies that Alice has returned to Bob the loan. And this is quite good, so it checks the efficiency box, but it doesn't fully check the security box as of now. So in order to to achieve full security, we also need to augment the smart contract in order to include a dispute mechanism. This dispute mechanism is similar to what we had, for instance, in the payment channel before. So it ensures that in the rational setting, so when the users want to maximize their profit, they're going to behave correctly, so nobody's going to cheat. We have evaluated our Alba protocol in Ethereum, so we've deployed an Alba contract into Ethereum, and we've shown that Alba, in the optimistic case, is very efficient. It only costs 48K gas, and let's remind that in Ethereum, the simplest transfer is only 21K gas. So in the optimistic case, it's very efficient, and in the pessimistic case, its costs are similar to the ones of other standard bridges. So it positions itself pretty well when compared with other bridges. We have analyzed the security of our protocol using two different approaches. We've used the universal composability framework and also a game theoretical approach. And we've shown that Alba is a subgame perfect, has a subgame perfect Nash equilibrium when Alice and Bob submit a valid proof. So on the rational analysis shows this Nash equilibrium. As I mentioned at the beginning, scalable bridges also allow to achieve some good properties, to inherit some good properties from their layer 2. And in this table, I'm showing that Alba is consensus agnostic, has instant finality in the rational setting, and it is secure against liveness attacks on the source chain. And this is in contrast with other bridge solutions that use, for instance, light clients. But interestingly, Alba also allows to relay communication that is constant in the source chain length, and similarly goes for the storage. And this is again in contrast with other types of bridges. Okay, I've already shown you the lending with Alba, but Alba also enables many more applications. For instance, in the paper, we've discussed that it enables multi-asset payment channels, and interestingly, it also allows to achieve optimistic stateful computation on payment channels. And we've shown it in the paper by discussing how one could play chess on the payment channel. Okay, I'm towards the conclusion of my talk, so just to recap, we have introduced the notion of a scalable bridge. We have formally defined it. We have designed Alba, the first scalable bridge. We've proven its efficiency by evaluating its costs in Ethereum. We have analyzed security in the universal composability framework and also with a game theoretical analysis. And we also showcase interesting applications. For more details, I invite you guys to check our paper or to ask some questions. Thank you.
Any questions? Yeah, please go ahead.
Hi, I'm from the Institute of Information Engineering, China. And I have a very quick question for you. I think, could you compare the security compared to zero knowledge proof? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So zero knowledge based bridges are very efficient on chain, but they burden the prover with very high computational costs. So this is, for instance, one difference. Alba achieves constant or only consumes a constant amount of resources for bandwidth, computation, and storage. And also ZK bridges requires transactions to be on-chain. So I think the two main differences are that they are not scalable, and the second one is for the amount of resources.
Okay, so they consume more resources.
One question at a time, please. Oh, go ahead. But one question.
So they consume more resources. You mean zero knowledge proof?
Yes, because the prover needs to run heavy computation off-chain to have an efficient on-chain proof.
Okay, let's go there. Thanks.
Yeah, hey, this is Kenya from University of Macau. So my question is that payment channel is one of solutions layer 2, as you mentioned, but we all know that like roll-up is more popular solutions. So how do you think that Alba can be applied to these other solutions? And another question is that, if I understand correctly, so Alba is more for that just the transactions, or we say payment in a blockchain system. But for scalability, now we would like to have that is more about the DeFi transactions or DeFi applications. So how do you think this Alba can support this or smart contract execution or other kind of transactions? Thanks.
Okay, thanks for your questions. Wait, the first one?
Just one question, answer one question. Or okay, whatever you remember from the questions. Just, you know.
Okay, I forgot the first question. Okay, rollups. I think for to apply Alba to rollups, we would need an entirely different design because they work significantly different. So in rollups, you have this sequencer, and rollups essentially use the underlying chain as a lazy ledger. So you check out the transaction ordering, and then you can compute the state of the rollup. So I think it can't be applied out of the box, but it would require a completely different design. Okay, but cool. Yeah, that's something for sure very interesting to explore.
All right, thank you. Make it very brief question. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Sun Yanzhe, and I will ask how do you further define the security in the multiple blockchains? Because in one blockchain we have, if we want to ensure the security, we have liveness and liveness safety, but because we have different blockchains in here, and how will you define the security? Yeah,
so essentially we assume the underlying blockchains are both safe and live. So this is, I mean, it's not really necessary for the source chain, but our assumptions are that the target blockchain is safe and live, and also the assumptions, the standard assumptions of the payment channel are fulfilled. And starting from that one, we use the UC framework, which allows us to define an ideal world and a real world and compare the real world to the ideal world. While for the game theoretic analysis, we essentially analyze the entire set of actions of all players, and by following the utility function, we see which is the dominant strategy for the parties.
All right. Final question? Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for your talk. It was very interesting, and I look forward to looking at some of the applications. How did you land on the name Alba?
Alba in Italian means dawn, sunrise.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. That was a very nice answer.
Cool, cool. Oh, well, thank the speaker again. I guess this paper wins the Best Paper Award for the most questions that we had.